Hey, what's up, everybody? So, this one I'm calling The Truth. Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook. So, it's pretty much the recap and my opinions and, post-fight thoughts on the fight that happened on Saturday, November 14th on ESPN, the main event of ESPN. I actually got married that day. I was still getting blown up about the fight not being on ESPN by the group chat that I'm in. And I ended up turning the TV on because we had the reception at my house. And, I had it on and I got to see the fight a little bit. We were winding down. But, Crawford went in there and actually he was losing on on two of the three judges' scorecards. He was losing 2-1, and then he caught Brook with looked like a pretty strong jab. It was kind of an over-the-top jab, almost a short hook. And it hurt Brook. It didn't look like it was a hard punch, but you got to understand Crawford, his timing. Again, I told you timing is what makes Crawford so good. And his timing on that punch was just money. It was right there. It was a great shot. And, it didn't look like a really hard shot until after you saw it in the replays. And it really hurt Brook to where it was pretty much scored a knockdown. It was scored a knockdown. And then he just jumped on him and Brook couldn't recover. So, fourth round TKO victory for Terrence Bud Crawford as he retains his welterweight title again. So, basically the aftermath, that's what I usually call these, the aftermath, is, I think Crawford, is a nice win, but, some people are putting him ahead of Canelo pound for pound, and I'm sorry, I don't believe that's the case, because Kell Brook, to me, is not ranked in he wasn't ranked at 154, at least he shouldn't have been. He wasn't ranked at welterweight, where he came down to fight Crawford. So for me, it was, we were trying to see if Kell Brook was the old Kell Brook, and, he wasn't. It's been 3.5 years since he fought Errol Spence, and over 3.5 years, actually, and, I just wasn't that, it's not that I'm not impressed with Crawford, it's just Crawford is one of the top pound-for-pound fighters, absolutely, but I don't think Kell Brook at this, at his stage and not being, he just wasn't an elite opponent. And, Crawford hasn't been fighting elite opponents. So, which is not his fault. It really isn't his fault. But, I was surprised that he was able to get Brook out of there like that quickly. But I think that says more about Brook being past it than Crawford, being so overly good, if that makes sense. Definitely Crawford is a superior athlete and top level and pound for pound guy. He's right at the top. I got him number 2 still. But was that win impressive enough to everybody to put him ahead of Canelo? And I just don't see it. I like Crawford a lot. I love Crawford. I think Crawford's great. And I think he can beat anybody at welterweight. But, again, not his fault, but he's just not getting the opponents. So, but I was happy to hear right before that fight that Crawford is that could have been possibly his last fight with ESPN. Even though there might be more fights on the contract, I'm hoping he can get out of that contract. That would be nice, and see him get in there, maybe sign with the PBC, or even do a short deal with the PBC, like maybe a 3-fight deal, to get the best fighters in the ring. Because if he could do that, he's going to make good money, and he's going to fight the best, more importantly. He's been making good money. That hasn't been an issue. Crawford is a top-tier fighter. He's making top-tier dollars. Bob Arum really, brings it all out for him, but he just can't land him those big fights. So, I hope there's not a lawsuit about his contract to where he's going to be out of the ring, because that's going to hurt him. He's 33 years old, but I am hoping that he can get himself the top fights. I know he said he wants Pacquiao because that fight almost happened. I guess because of COVID and them not being able to pull the money together to go have it take place in another country. I guess the country, it was one of the Arab countries, and I guess because of COVID, they couldn't get it together. So I'm hoping they get things more, in line in those countries to where they could set up the Crawford-Pacquiao fight. I'm hoping Pacquiao, he didn't kind of scare Pacquiao away in this fight with how good he is, but I'm hoping a fight with Pacquiao's on the table. But if not, I hope he can get himself in line for the PBC fighters. I'd love to see him fight Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. Definitely the winner of Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, which I think is going to be Errol Spence. But I would love to see 2021 be Crawford's year where he finally gets 2 top 5 to top 7, 8 welterweights in the ring, because he's due and he needs those fights. So, congratulations to him. I hope and I pray that he can, get what he deserves, because in my opinion, Crawford is an all-time talent and an all-time fighter, and it's just his legacy is hurting because he cannot get those top-tier welterweights in the ring because they don't want to come to ESPN and fight him. I used to get it, hey, you fight on your network, it's going to hurt the network, so you kind of stay loyal. But when he started offering guys $5 million to come fight him, like Danny Garcia is not making $5 million fighting on the PBC out there. He's just not. Why not go to ESPN and fight him? These fights should be makeable because they're gonna make a shitload of money, and Bob Arum and the PBC should be able to come together just like they did on Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. If that fight can be made, then the top 2 welterweights in the world are especially welterweights in the best division, they should be able to link up. So, we'll see. Kell Brook, real quick thought on him. I think it's a good idea that he's contemplating retirement, but for me, I really think Kell Brook needs to take one last run at 154 if he can get the fights. Because he never really gave it his best effort. He's been injured a lot. Maybe that's why he's contemplating retirement. Maybe he is past it, but he never really gave it a good effort to make a run at 154. To try to get himself, become a 2-division champion, try to get himself big fights in that weight class. So if he comes back, I think it has to be at 154. I think he'd be smart. I have always thought he was talented enough. It's just, can he take the shots? And can he go without getting hurt? We got to see. We got to see if his body can hold up at his age and if he wants to make a run. But if he does, it's got to be at 154, possibly 160, and then that's it. He would have to make one last run. So we'll see. But Kell Brook, no shame in losing to the best, in my opinion, maybe the most talented fighter in boxing right now, and one of the pound for pound top 2 fighters in the world. So no shame in that. All right, guys, that's the aftermath, the truth on Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook for the WBO welterweight title on Saturday, November 14th. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.